If I go exceed your expectations, please refer me 3 clients. I invest my marketing dollars into the relationship. You could do things together as you start building your team. They could come in with absolutely no money and come away with a home.
Cross clients, especially if you're active in residential real estate. Our clients will have commercial real estate or may want to get into commercial real estate, and this is a good introduction for you. So why commercial real estate matters? Well, commercial real estate builds long-term wealth. That's why if you have clients who has lots of residential, talking about commercial may be a good fit. And if you never sold commercial, then like I said, you could partner with another agent who has. A lot of my commercial deals, if it's something that I am, because I like to move a lot of volume. So sometimes I just partner up with a commercial agent, let them handle it and get a referral fee, or I'll be a co-agent on the deal. And so, so larger deals and scalable income, repeat investors versus a one-time home buyer, strong correlations to business growth and economic cycles. So key difference between residential and commercial. I'm going to go fast here because we got a lot to cover. Value based on income and not comps. Okay, so commercial is really based on income. And you're going to notice through this presentation, I continue to talk about the gross income, the leases, and so on. So longer negotiation timelines. That's the one thing about commercial real estate that I find that the transition is a little bit more difficult than residential, from residential to commercial, because the timelines on closing deals is a lot longer. You usually deal with more sophisticated clients. This is lease-driven value, fewer emotions, and more numbers. That's the one good thing about commercial real estate. Main commercial property types is office, retail, industrial, multifamily, mixed use, and special purpose like storage, medical, hospitality, hotels, and so motels. How commercial properties are valued? Well, net operating income, capitalization rate, income approach, sales comparison. And so the formula usually is net operating income cap rate equals value. Understanding net operating income, gross rental income minus vacancy and credit loss, minus operating expenses, excluded mortgage depreciation and income tax. My dog just came to me. Net operating determines property value, loan size, and investor interests. Okay, well, cap rates explained. Okay, so this is just an important piece. And my dog, can you please move? Okay. Measured of return on investment, higher cap rate, lower income rate, lower risk, varies by location, asset class, and tenant quality. My dog needs a little love here. So, okay, excuse me. Types of commercial lease: gross lease, modified gross lease, triple net lease, and triple net is usually the most, what most landlords like, and absolute lease. Gross versus triple net lease: gross lease, tenant pays rent, landlord pays most expenses. That's on a gross lease. And here's a triple lease, and you'll see why. Tenant pays rent, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. So predictable income for investors. Lease terms that matter to investors. Well, the lease length. That really is what matters when it comes to commercial. I mean, if you have an anchor tenant like a Starbucks, Target, they're usually a longer term. Walgreens, CVS. So rent escalations, tenant credit strength, renewal options, expense responsibility. So longer the lease, stronger the lease, the more value your property will be. Building. Commercial deal structure basics, purchase price based on income. Earnest money often larger. Longer escrow periods, due diligence is extensive. Financing is more complex. I mean, if you've ever done a commercial lease, they're just a little bit more difficult. But the good news is there's a lot of professionals who are amazing and experts in their field. Commercial financing overview. Well, usually 20 to 35% down, shorter term lease. It's not like a residential where it's a 30-year fix. Adjustable or fixed rate. Personal or partial guarantee common. Hold on here. Who are commercial investors? Well, they're usually high net worth individuals, business owners, syndicators, family offices, or people who's in a 1031 exchange. Investor mindset. Their mindset's really focused on cash flow, right? Less emotions, long-term strategy-driven, relationship-based businesses. I mean, right now, I've noticed there's a lot more commercial properties available in the San Francisco Bay Area. And if that's something you want to get into, there's quite a few out there. Some strip malls, just different types of commercial real estate. And if you could get into it, it's really a good rental, good tenants to have. Building investor relationships. Well, be a market expert. Understand investor goals. Communicate clearly and consistently. Bring opportunities, not just listings. Okay? Questions every commercial real estate agent should ask investors. What's their target return? Right? Risk tolerance, preferred asset type, location focus, and hold period. These are just questions you should be asking your clients. Your role as a commercial real estate agent. Well, deal finder. I think that's one of the things. When you're a commercial agent, the best way to find deals that I find are usually through the network. Sometimes it's not MLS on the MLS, so you have to go through networks. A market analyst, negotiator, relationship manager, and trusted advisor. This is what your role is as a commercial agent. Common mistakes new commercial agents make. This is super important, right? Because when you're out there doing residential versus commercial, it's totally different. So treating commercial real estate like residential. I think that's like when you're doing residential, where are you? You're usually looking on MLS. Commercial, you want to probably spend more time on the phone and a little bit of time on the MLS. I mean, you get my point. Ignoring the least details, super important. Overlooking the expenses and not knowing the numbers. So this is the common mistakes. How to get started in commercial real estate? Well, learn one asset class deeply. Okay? Partner with experienced brokers. Like I mentioned, if you get a commercial deal, partner with somebody who has done it, because just a little bit different. I've always stuck to residential just because it's fast. I know it. Most of my sphere of influence is in the average income, people who came from the post office, the city, county workers, etc. I am not like into the tech industry where there's a different class of buyers. So I stick to where I am. And when it comes to commercial, if you have a commercial deal, maybe it's wise to hook up with a commercial agent. Attend investor meetups, analyze deals daily. I think this is just something, if you're going to get into commercial, this is something that should be done. Here's some final takeaways. Commercial real estate is income driven. Okay, so it's just really, that's where it is. I mean, if you're doing commercial and there's a big anchor tenant like Walgreens or Target, that's where the value comes from. Leases create value. I just mentioned that. Investors think long term. Relationships matter more than transactions. So, I just want to thank you for coming on.